Good, thank you.
That's good. How's the life of Asia Penelope rolling along since the startup and journey in your business?
So busy, super busy. Coming into Christmas, Black Friday sales, New Year, it's busiest season.
Busiest season for you guys, hey? But I suppose it's like that
Yeah,
all the time for you now.
yeah, it's good.
Yeah, yeah. So I just want to have a chat to you about what's been going on since you started AP Collection. So just for everyone out there that doesn't know, a little bit of the back journey for Asia is she actually started out as an influencer, didn't you, Asia, on Instagram, Facebook, etc. She started that journey as a plus size model. Amazing journey even there in itself, and from there she went on to influencing online for brands like Fashion Nova, Pretty Little Thing, and things like that, which I think from memory, if we go back to that, Asia, you probably developed quite a decent fan base when you were doing your influencing journey, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. I would say majority of my following came from influencing products that I wore. So like what you said, Fashion Nova, Pretty Little Thing.
So
Most
clothing.
people, yeah, yeah. It was predominantly when body positivity was trending, when it was first coming into the industry. It was fresh, it was new. People weren't familiar with it, but excited to see more of it.
So wearing all that clothing would have been so much fun, and getting
Mm.
to show off all that stuff all the time would have been so much fun. But I mean, the whole thing behind how Asia Penelope Collection grew, I suppose, is the story about what happened after that journey, or part of that journey as being an influencer. So I know that we had been working with you in those early days and helping you set up all that influencing journey, which was really fun from our perspective to see all of that stuff unfold. But in all
Mm.
of that, COVID hit, right? And then a
Mm.
lot of big places, they pulled their budgets for their influencers. And that was a bit of a shock to anybody in the industry, I think, considering
Mm.
that the online movement was pretty strong during that time, like you said. So when that happened, I remember us having this discussion about what's next. And I think from memory back then, you know, that whole discussion went around, well, you wear clothes and people follow you for that. And I mean, you had a fairly decent following even back then. I think you were sitting around 150,000 followers then. And I think what you're sitting up around the 170 mark now, maybe 170,000 follower
Yeah,
mark now. Yeah.
yeah.
So, and I remember us having that conversation about, okay, there's a stagnant thing going on. So what do we do to start generating money? And a little bit of a backstory for you guys out there. At that time, Asia had found out that she was pregnant,
Yes.
and an amazing relationship. Her partner was also an influencer on Instagram, so they had this lovely little world going on. And they found out they were pregnant. A few weeks later, they found out they were pregnant with twins. So your life was literally in the middle of COVID turning upside down, right? And you had to re-find a way to generate income and to create something for yourself and your family to keep your family moving. So with all of that, tell us how the Asia Penelope journey started and what triggered the uh, the design and the purchase of what is now your empire of product.
Yeah, so pretty much a little backstory. Pretty everything you said is pretty much accurate, but um I was pregnant with twins. I didn't have any money to my name. I probably had $50 to my name. And I just knew I had to make a way for myself, my kids, and my family. And the first thing that came to my head was something product based.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to launch a product, but I never really knew what. I've always like thought maybe something beauty related, like eyelashes or makeup or something along those lines. And it's funny because I religiously, before I fell pregnant with the twins, I always wore a waist trainer and shapewear garments as a plus size woman or as people like to say, curvy woman. I lived in shapewear. Whenever I wore anything, dresses, jeans, whatever, like I just loved the feeling of my shapewear, of my waist trainers. It just felt like I just felt confident when I was wearing them, and I felt like I could just do more, and I don't know, and I just like how I felt majority of the time wearing it. And people would always ask me, hey, where'd you get your waist trainer? When I go to the gym and people see me working out or whatever, they would say, where'd you get your waist trainer? And I would always just refer them onto a company that I found in America, because Australia hadn't had a waist training company here yet. There's some small companies here and there, but there was nothing super big and nothing that was size inclusive. It was really, really hard for me actually to find waist trainers for myself because of my size and my shape. I'm like bottom heavy, but at the top I'm a little bit smaller on the top, so it would be hard for me to find something that would fit towards the bottom of my waist and the top of my waist. And the only places I could find stuff was in America, and America was just so expensive for like one waist trainer. It was like almost 200 and something bucks, including shipping. And
so
it was just not worth it.
The mindset came from, well, wait a minute, I'm going to do a waist trainer.
Yeah, so it was kind of like almost following the trends. And I know Australia is, I just know just from working in social media, doing influencer work, that Australia follows American trends. So I thought, if people are always asking me about this product, maybe this is the product for me. Maybe I should have a look, shop around and see if I can find something or create something that I can accommodate for everybody. And that's what I did. Pretty much. That's what I did. I had $50 to my name. I had to make sure I designed the most perfect sample ever. There couldn't be any faults or errors because I didn't have another $50 to buy a sample. So I had to make sure that was perfect. I made sure it incorporated everything that I loved personally, and things, and just other things that I thought would be a good idea or convenient. So our first ever waist trainer that I launched was a double Velcro strap waist trainer, which is perfect for working out in. It had 4 set of hooks in the inside to help putting it on easier. And one little cool feature I added was inside the strap there was a little pocket where you could have your phone or your keys, so when you're working out you don't have to leave them in your locker. You'd always have it close to you. After we launched that first product, it went really, really well, and
it went extremely well. I think you actually need to have a little bit of a chat around that as well, because I know we worked with you in helping get all your product images ready, some video ready. I helped you behind the scenes as part of that business glow up process to get your website started. You did all the work. I just helped you. Oopsie daisy, sorry. I just helped you a little bit here and there, and literally doing that deep dive with you to show you how you move forward in building a website. But you know what? You're actually the Shopify website queen now. If I ever need a question answered, who am I messaging? It is you. But I don't want to skip over that first initial selling point for you, because that was a really big day. And I think as women, as mums, as wives, as partners, sometimes we do want to throw a bit of a spanner in the works. And I remember having a conversation with you before you went live. You were sending your website live at midnight, and I was like, Asia, do you think that's a really good idea? And you're like, I know my demographic. I know that they're going to stay up and wait for that website to go live. And I remember waking up the next day to a message from you that you'd had $35,000 sales on your opening day. Now, don't skim over that. Because that...
I don't think it was 35. I think it was closer to 29.
29, okay. Give or take.
But by the end, that was for the launch.
That's the launch.
You are right. I remember doing it at midnight, because I remember you mentioning creating hype around the product.
Correct.
So if I could create hype around the product, if I could create, if I could create like demand, almost like people just waiting, wanting, and if I could create some type of emotion to make them feel like this is the time they're coming, and if you miss out, it's kind of like you miss out getting quick kind of feeling.
That's right. That's that pre-launch, right? Where you're generating the hype. And we had these really in-depth discussions beforehand where we talked about the fact is that when you decided to release a waist trainer, you were doing something that already spoke to your demographic. And one of the things that we teach in the Business Glow Up is knowing who your demographic is, because it would be like you releasing a song to everybody that's in your demographic. No one's going to buy it because they follow you, you wear clothing, they're going to buy clothing off you. So, you know, part of the whole the glowing up of someone's business, or I mean, you were already extremely popular. You were getting paid stupid amounts of money to wear clothing online, and you know, that's even back then, that was a bit of a dream for most people to get that influencer dream going. So for you to
definitely
for you to be able to then turn that into, okay, well, who is my demographic? What do they want? What are you good at? You turned all of that into a sellable product. You built a website, and this is the whole thing, right? $50 to your name. We already have so many followers that are like, money is an issue. I don't know where to start. What do I do? And you know, I call your story a rags to riches story, because you literally had $50 in your pocket and you took that step, and yes, you were excited, but you were also extremely scared. It was $50. It was the middle of COVID. You were pregnant with twins. There was this whole thing going on around you, but you still stepped out and you did it anyway. And one of the things I really love about that, and I just want to try and keep us on track for a little bit, because I know our time's really short, and I don't want to give away too many secrets, because you are one of our amazing speakers at the Business Glow Up, and I don't want to give away too much of your story. But, you know, in all of that, when money is small, in small amounts, you had to think about things like a logo, a website, your branding, your SEO, all of that stuff that we have to do, product samples, like you said. And you know,
I think the most important thing when starting a business is understanding what you have available to you, and understanding your priorities. It's the most two important things, I feel like. If you know what you have, so for example, I knew I had a demographic. I didn't have to worry. I knew what product I wanted, what I wanted to do, and I knew what I had available to me. I knew my skill set, what I had available to me.
Fantastic.
So I knew, but what I also knew as well, those are the things I had, and I also knew the things I didn't have. So I knew I didn't have money to pay for things. I knew I didn't have a logo. I didn't have branding. I didn't have enough money for samples. So when you prioritize those things and you bullet point them and you figure out what is the most important thing that I need to start this business, for me, it was the website. I need somewhere to sell it, and I need something to sell. That's all I cared about. So I made sure I made that perfect sample. I made sure that it was beautiful. It was perfect. I read everything about the material. I made sure I looked for products I had similar around the house that had similar material components, so I could feel it and touch it and try it.
It's great.
Before purchasing something like that. Things like that. And I feel like because money wasn't on my side, and majority of the time money isn't on everybody's side. So I did little things like using free trials. So for example, the website, I had a 2-week free trial, and then after that 2-week free trial was when I had to start paying. So I knew I had 2 weeks to get the website built. I had 2 weeks to get the products made. I had 2 weeks to get everything done and ready. And I was fortunate enough to have like a logo that someone created for me a long time ago. It was just like a mock-up, something that took them 20 minutes. It was just literally my initials.
And it was IPH Creative.
Yes.
Craig from IPH Creative created that in the beginning. It was just my initials in like cursive font, and I just used that logo, to be honest. I used that logo just for the header of my invoices. Anymore, that's right, you did.
I just used it for the header of my invoices for when I was influencing, and I that's what I used it for. And
Yeah.
that's the only thing I had available to me. And to be honest, I believed in my product, so I knew my product would sell regardless of what the logo was.
Yeah.
And I knew rebranding was an option, so it was not like the end of the world.
No,
It's
that's
just
right.
temporary, and I just had to get something out there to make some money.
Yeah.
And I knew everything could be changed. Like, it
Yes,
doesn't
yes.
mean it's locked in. It doesn't mean that. So I
Not
used that
forever.
logo. Yeah. I used that logo, and I used that same logo to launch my website. And I never had anybody tell me anything about the logo. Actually, to this day, that waist trainer still has that same logo on it, because
Yeah, there
people
you go.
like it.
Yeah, and
People
people
like it.
recognize it, right? That's brand recognition. And we
Yeah.
can talk about that more when we do the business glow up, because I know that in the end, we've got 10 minutes to go. So in the end, I know that you did opt for, once you were making some decent coin, you did actually opt to upgrade your branding.
Yeah.
And you have worked with a website provider to get some specific branding done for your website, and your boxes do go out pretty, your postage is beautiful, your welcome cards, like all of that stuff is growing with you. And it's like what you said earlier, you know what you had and you knew what you didn't have. And one of the first things we talk about, obviously, in the business glow up is, who are you and what is your why? And I think you just described that beautifully. And knowing that up front, I think, makes a really big difference to your business journey and where you expect to go in that journey. So I do know we do have to start wrapping it up in a second. I probably, if you had one word, because I know now still, has it been 2 years since you launched Asia Penelope collection, or 18 months maybe?
I think it's coming closer to 3 years,
Coming
or just
closer
over
to
2
3
years.
Yes.
We launched in September 2020.
Yeah, wow. And so just really briefly, without giving away too much, $50 to, what's a good month for AP?
Just say 6 figures.
6 figures, yeah, all right, we'll leave it there. And I love that. And just one other thing, I mean, I still work with you regularly, bi-weekly. Every now and then we have a catch-up session where we talk about things that we could be stagnant on, or we may need moving on. And I think that's something that's important for people to know as well, that when you are going from either a business startup, or because you were a startup and now you're a glow up, I'm going to call you my best glow up. I love it. But whether you're a startup, or whether you're just becoming stagnant, or maybe something's not moving, a product's not moving, it doesn't matter what that looks like. It's always important to still have somebody that you can bounce off, or a group of people that you can bounce off to continue to support you. So if I could ask you just in a couple of words to share what it's been like having someone, like us on your side, what's that meant to you through that journey in the last few years?
It's important. It's definitely important. I feel like, I forgot the saying, but and it takes a tribe. Yeah. It takes a tribe, because it's not just like, at the end of the day, you have yourself. Yeah. But you need people around you that you trust. You need people around you that have experience. Yeah. You need that influence, because you're only better than the next person. Like, you need to always make sure you're improving, following the trends. You need to make sure you can't stay stagnant. For sure, you can't stay stagnant. If you stay stagnant and you just stick to what you know, you're not going to grow. Yeah, it's all about learning and taking on criticism. And sometimes there might be things that you don't want to hear, or there's some things that you're just so used to doing that's like a routine to you almost. Yeah, absolutely. And that's just the way the world moves. You have to follow the trends. You have to keep up. You have to keep moving. You have to know what's coming. You have to be ahead of the ball. Our slogan here is ahead of the curve. Yeah. So we're always one jump ahead, always one step ahead. We never want to be left behind.
I love that. I really love it. I love your success story. I love that we have been a tiny
Sorry, that's a customer
ringing the pickup doorbell. I love that we've been a tiny little piece of that, but probably an integral piece of that. So thank you for allowing us to be a part of your journey, and we are so excited to see where the AP journey still has to go. Thank you so much for talking to us this morning, and we are super excited to have you as our bonus guest speaker at the face-to-face business glow up workshop that's happening in February.
Yes, I'm excited too. I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. Oh, but you know what? I love it. I'm nervous every time I speak to somebody, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because if you're not nervous, you're not growing, right? So, yeah, any last words of success from Asia Penelope?
Chase those dreams.
Yeah,
chase those dreams.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Asia. I really appreciated talking to you today, and I look forward to seeing you soon in the flesh.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks
you. Heaps. See you. Bye.
Bye.